Hey everybody, this is Daniel and Kelly from fitnessblender.com again. We are here to do another Pilates routine. This time we're going to be focusing a little bit more on those legs. And Kelly again is going to be our lovely victim. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and lay out flat on your back. We're going to start off this routine with an imprint to warm that core up. So imprint is just moving that core basically from hips to base of your rib cage. So nice deep breath in, arch that back up nice and high, then exhale, press that lower back down to the mat, rolling those hips in, sucking that belly button to your spine. Inhale, arching it up again, nice high range of motion, then exhale down, really press that lower back down. Now that's the main portion that you want to focus on. That's the position we're going to be actually holding the majority of the time through this. So just keep going back and forth, really warm those muscles up, really kind of exaggerate this motion as much as you possibly can. It's not a huge range of motion, but try to get as much out of it as you can. So nice deep breath in, arch up, roll those hips away, exhale down, roll those hips in, suck that belly button to your spine. Short pause in each position, just back and forth just a few more times. Really open those lungs up the entire time you're doing this. Make sure you're getting a really nice tight squeeze in those abs. You want them actually to start feeling warm by the time you're done with this. Good. Make sure you're not actually lifting your hips all the way off the ground when you press your back down. Those hips should stay right where they are. You're just trying to press as much of your body weight into your lower back as you can. Good. We're going to do two more. Nice deep breath in. Arch it up nice and high. Again, as much space on that lower back as you can. Then exhale down, suck that belly button in, roll those hips in. Try to press that lower back to that mat as tight as possible. Last one, inhale up. And exhale, slowly back down. Freeze it. Breathe normally, but keep those abdominal muscles contracted nice and tight. Keep that belly button sucked in. Our next exercise is going to be what's called a pelvic clock. You're actually going to focus on rolling those hips around without actually pulling them off the ground. So what you're going to do is think of a clock, the face of a clock. You're going to roll around to each point on that clock, basically a big circle, and then reverse it back around the opposite direction. So starting from the imprint position, you're going to kind of roll off to the right, down straight, off to the left, and then slowly back, or vice versa if I knew my left from my right. Nice and slow, back the opposite direction. So you want to make sure you keep those abs nice and contracted. Just doing a nice big circle with those hips, just kind of rolling them back and forth. Just trying to get, feel like you're kind of rimming those hips as you go around. As you get to the furthest point away from that clock, so from that imprint position, you're going to be doing that same position we were just doing a second ago where you lift that back up really nice and high. It's just kind of going down on your left, going into that imprint, and coming up on that left, arching that back up nice and high, and then down on that right. Just keep alternating back and forth. Again, really trying to warm up those core muscles, engaging those obliques quite a bit more on this one than you would with a regular imprint. Good, just a few more. And one more back around. Nice big arch. And freeze it. Hold those abdominal muscles nice and tight. We're going to start stretching out those legs so we can get into working on those. So you're going to start with your left leg first. Bring it straight up in the air. You want that ankle directly above your hip joint. Contract that quadricep nice and tight so that leg stays perfectly straight. If you have tight hamstrings, you can't get it perfectly straight, that's fine. Just get it as straight as you can. You're going to slowly walk up that leg. Exhaling as you walk up, try to get as high as you can, and then slowly inhale as you come back down. Let those abs release for a second, and then right back up. Perfect, good. Just keep that motion going. We'll go through this a few times to really stretch that hamstring out. At the top of that range of motion, give it just a short little pause to really stretch that hamstring. Just trying to increase that range of motion slowly every single time we do this. Good. Just two more. Nice. One more. Slowly walk up and freeze. Hold it up there. Nice tight squeeze on that hamstring. You want a good stretch on that hamstring. And slowly walk it back down. Let that left leg drop. We're going to bring that right leg up, do the same exact thing. So that right leg comes up, again, ankle right above that knee right above that hip, so nice straight line. Try to contract that quadricep, the front of that thigh as tight as you can to keep a nice straight leg. And go ahead and start walking up that leg. Nice and high up, slowly back down, slowly back up. Again, trying to increase that range of motion. Every single time you go up, you're trying to get just a little bit further towards the top. Good. Again, exhale on your way up. Inhale as you slowly come back down. Trying to get a nice full deep breath every single time. 2 more. Good. The last one. Walk back up that leg. Freeze the top. Hold it right there. Nice tight stretch on that hamstring. Pull it in if you need to a little bit. Try to get as much flexibility, much range of motion out of that leg as you can. And go ahead and let it relax. You're going to drop that foot back down. We're moving on to a double leg pulse for this one. So we're going to start with that left leg first. Your right leg is going to go flat out against the ground. Left leg comes straight up. You're going to grab either behind your thigh or behind your calf. Whatever you do, don't grab behind your knee. So you're going to grab behind that thigh. You're going to pulse in twice with an exhale, and then switch those legs as you inhale. Pulse twice with an exhale. So it's exhale, exhale, inhale, cross. Exhale, exhale, inhale, cross. Just keep popping them back and forth. Nice, slow, controlled motion at first. We'll speed it up here in just a second, but start very, very slowly. Again, trying to get a nice, good, full range of motion or full breath on those, on each one of those pulses. So exhale, exhale, all the way out. Inhale as much as you can as you switch. Good. Again, try to keep those legs as straight as you can. You don't have to keep them perfectly straight the entire time, but try to keep them as straight as possible. Good, so we're going to speed this motion up just a little bit. So same motion, just get that pulse a little faster, cross those legs across a little faster. Good? Perfect. Keep those abs nice and tight, press that lower back flat against that mat. If your neck starts to get a little bit tired, feel free to bring one hand back behind your head for support. Otherwise, just try to keep those shoulder blades up as best you can the entire time. Good, just a couple more. Remember again, don't grab behind your knee, either your calf or your thigh. If you grab behind your knee, it's going to make that knee want to bend. Good. And we're going to switch to a single pulse now. So just go to a single pulse. It's exhale, inhale, cross. Exhale, inhale as they cross. Again, slowing that motion down to begin with. Get that motion under control. Stretch that leg in towards your body as much as you can. You're going to feel this quite a bit in your hamstrings. You're also going to feel it in your quadriceps, the front of that thigh, as well as in those abdominal muscles. So you're going to be feeling it in a lot of different places. Move those hands either down a little bit on that leg or up on that leg. You're grabbing a little bit too much behind that knee. Perfect, good. Try to keep that leg nice and straight. Contract that thigh. And go ahead and speed it up. Same exact motion, just speed it up just a little bit more. Keep those legs as straight as you can. Again, trying to push that range of motion just a little bit. Try to get a little bit more range of motion with each kick. Good. And pause. Both legs come straight up on top of those hips. Grab behind those thighs and those calves. Crunch it in for just a second. Get a nice tight squeeze on those abs. Lay down. Keep those legs up there nice and straight. We're going to work on those abs. So go only as far as you can control, keeping that lower back flat on that mat. So press that lower back down nice and tight. You're going to drop both those legs out at the same time. As soon as that lower back starts to lift up off that mat, bend those knees and let those feet touch the ground. Get as low as you can. Nice tight contraction on those abs. And let it relax. All right, move those feet in just a little bit closer. We're going to be doing leg circles next. So we're going to start back over with that left leg. If you want the easier version, you can bring that right leg up to a 90-degree angle on that knee. Keep that foot flat on the ground. Just makes it a little bit easier on that hamstring. Otherwise, lay it flat out. Makes that hamstring have to work a little bit harder, or that quadricep have to work a little bit harder. So we'll try the harder version with Kelly. We'll make her work a little harder. So right leg out flat, left leg straight up in the air. We're going to do a very small circle first. This is going to be just about 12 inches in diameter right above that hip joint. So nice slow motion down off to the side. You bring it up across, pause the top, and then reverse directions. Back out and pause the top. So main thing is to try to keep that leg as straight as you possibly can, and to try to keep that ankle moving right around that hip joint. You want to try to get that circle right around that hip joint rather than down more towards the ground or up over top of your chest. Now most people aren't going to have a whole lot of flexibility here, so the range of motion is going to be down away from you more than over top of that hip, but just try to pull it in as tight as you can the entire time. Keep those abs in nice and tight, keep those hips rolled in as best you can, lower back pressed against that mat. It's going to be exhale that leg down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. We're almost done. And freeze the top, hold it right there. Use those muscles to the front of your leg and that hip flexor to pull that leg over top of your body as tight as you can. Get a really, really good tight squeeze on it. Contract those abs nice and tight. Hold it. And let it relax. Bend that knee, drop it off to the side. We're going to do the same thing the other side. Bring that leg up. Easier version with that knee bent. Start with that nice small circle, about 12 inches across. Bring it around, pause at the top. Bring it back around the opposite direction. Remember that breathing is exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, and inhale up. Just keep that motion going. Contract that thigh as tight as you can. Keep that leg as straight as possible. Get a tight squeeze over top of that body as much as you can so it's a nice big circle around, or a nice circle right around that hip joint, 12 inches across. Just keep it going. Check those abs, make sure that lower back is pressed down against that mat. Those hips are rolled in nice and tight. Keep pressing that range of motion. Keep that leg as straight as you can. Almost done. One more back around. We're going to do one more full on each side, so down and around. Pause. Bring it back around. Pause, freeze it. Again, contract that leg nice and tight. Using those muscles, pull that leg over top of your body as tight as you possibly can. Get a good stretch on that hamstring. Make those quadriceps, the front of that thigh have to work, that hip flexor. Those abdominal muscles, make sure they're all nice and tight. Just pull it in, nice tight squeeze. A little bit longer. And let it relax. Nice and slow, let it relax. That's good, that means you're doing it right. Okay, so we're going to do that same thing over again, but this time we're going to do a nice big leg circle. So we're going to start back over with that left leg. The leg comes up. This time you want to try to get that leg as close to the ground as you possibly can. So as big of a circle as possible without letting those hips rock. You want to keep those hips nice and stationary. So exhale down away from you. Inhale up across. Exhale down away from you. Inhale up across. Again, reversing the direction every single time you come up to the center position. Nice slow motion. Exhale away. Inhale up. Exhale away. Inhale up. Now if you're feeling or hearing a lot of popping going on inside of your hip joint, as long as it doesn't have pain associated with it, you're perfectly fine. My hips, I've been teaching Pilates for well over 10 years and my hips still pop like crazy, so it's not a bad thing. It's just those joints kind of moving around a little bit, those tendons sliding back and forth, they just make a little bit of noise. Just keep that motion going. Good. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. Again, freeze. Hold it right there. Pull that leg in nice and tight using only muscle strength. Tight, tight squeeze. Contract those abs nice and tight. And let it relax. Nice and slow down. Very good. How are those legs doing? Good. Good. All right. One more time on the other side. That right leg comes up. Again, nice big circle. Drop it off and out to the side. Exhale down away. Inhale, back up across. Exhale down away. Inhale, back up across. Now the main thing you want to focus on, like I was saying before, is not letting those hips rock around. So as you kick that leg out to the side, you don't want to let those hips lean towards that leg. You want to try to keep them perfectly parallel to the ground. Nice slow motion coming around. Try to keep that leg as straight as you can. Good. Again, exhale down away from you. Inhale up. Exhale down away from you. Inhale up. Go back through and check those abdominal muscles. Make sure they're tight. That belly button's pulled in nice and tight. Those hips are rolled in. Everything's constantly contracted. Trying to keep only your leg moving. Everything else in your body should be as stationary as you can possibly control. Keep those lungs open. Never hold your breath. Just got a few more to go. Good. around, and freeze it. Bring that leg in nice and tight. Contract all those muscles. Try to get it over top of your body as much as you can. Just like Kelly was doing there, flex your foot a little bit, and you'll feel that stretch change a little bit. But try to get that range of motion out of it as much as you can. And let it relax. Very good. Nice and tired?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Good. All right, we're moving on to a bridge next. So this one, we're starting off with the easier version, then we're going to move on to the harder version. Feel free to stay at the easier version if you need to. The easier version is this. So those feet are going to be just about as close as is comfortable to your hips. So you want to squeeze them in as close as comfortable. Don't worry about pulling them in too tight. You want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on those knees. Arms flat down against the ground next to those hips. You're going to press into your heels, lifting those hips nice and high off the ground. Slowly drop them back down. Keep a little bit of a distance underneath those hips at the bottom. You want to keep them hovering just a tiny bit, then squeeze them right back up. So it's going to be inhale as those hips drop down, then exhale as you squeeze them up. And just like Kelly's doing here, make sure the motion is very, very slow. You want a nice full deep breath in and exhaling all the way back out so you don't hyperventilate. You want to keep this motion slow. And make sure every single time you come to the top, you're getting as tight of a squeeze as you possibly can. You want to get as much range of motion out of it as possible. You just don't want to let that lower back round. When you come up to the top, you don't want to press that lower back out too much. You want to try to keep a pretty straight line from hip to shoulder. Tight, tight squeeze. Again, press into your heels. If you're feeling it a lot in your calves, it means you're trying to push on your toe too much. So don't press on your toe. Press into your heel, and that should let those calves relax. Good, nice tight squeeze. Just going to go a few more. Good. Again, remember that breathing. Exhale as you squeeze it up. Inhale as you drop it back down. Nice tight squeeze. We're going to do one more. Inhale down. Exhale, bring it right back up. Freeze it for just a second. Tight squeeze, hold it there. Pressing up as tight as you possibly can the entire time. Just hold it. Just a few more seconds. And slowly let it drop back down. And let it relax. Okay, that was the easier version. We're going to go through this twice more. If you want the easier version, or if those legs were nice and tired, you're going to stay at the same easy version using both legs. Otherwise, you're going to move on with us to the next hardest version, which is going to be using a single leg. So we're going to start with your left leg first, so your right leg's going to come up off the ground. Hovering those hips again. You're going to squeeze the glute on just your left side, because that's the only leg touching. Press into the heel again. Get those hips up nice and high. Bring that leg up. You can either bend keep it straight above that hip, or you can either bend that knee down to a 90-degree angle and keep it more like a tabletop position. Just nice tight squeeze. Pressing that toe up towards the ceiling like you're trying to poke a hole in the ceiling. Good, tight squeeze. The other position you can try is at a 90, so you bring that leg up, bend that knee down. There you go, right there. Squeezing it up from there. Perfect. Nice tight squeeze, contracting up, pressing into that heel. Remember, don't press into your toe. Good, we're going to do two more. Good, one left. We're going to do a nice tight squeeze at the top of that range of motion. So bring those hips up and freeze, tight squeeze. Press it up, press it up, press it up. And let it down nice and slow. Let it completely release. Go ahead and switch those legs. All right. Yeah, we get a nice burn off of this one. So right foot down this time, left leg's going to come up, either straight up above that hip or at the tabletop position. And press it up, nice tight squeeze. Keep that leg perfectly straight. Good. Just keep this motion going, keeping those lungs open. Nice deep breath in. You inhale as you drop. You exhale as you press up. Good. Bring that leg straight up above that hip for me. Good, right there. So nice tight squeeze, trying to press that toe into the ceiling. Just keep that motion going, tight, tight squeeze. And move to that next position, that tabletop, so bend that knee. Perfect, right there. Tight squeeze. Inhale, drop down. Exhale, press it back up. Watch that foot. Remember, don't press into your toe. You want to have all that weight in your heel. Getting a good burn going?
Yeah.
You had 2 more. Good. 1 left. And perfect. There you go. Go ahead and let it relax back down. Nice and slow. And let it relax. All right, good job. That is that one done. Now we're going to go through and torture those glutes even more. So we're going to go ahead and flip you over. So facing down towards the mat on your elbows and knees. So you want that knee directly underneath your hip joint. You want that elbow directly underneath your shoulder. Start with a nice flat back. You want to try to keep your back as flat as you can the entire time. So you're going to start off with this one with your left leg first. You're going to extend that leg straight out back behind you. Keep it perfectly locked out, so barely touching the ground with your toe, and then squeezing it up nice and high. So it's going to be exhale as you squeeze that leg up, then inhale as you bring it back down. Keep those abs contracted, so pull those abs in, keep that back flat. You actually want to feel like you're kind of crunching those shoulders and hips together, kind of crunching forward just a little bit with those abs to keep that back from rounding. So nice, slow, controlled motion with that leg. Exhale, squeeze it up. Inhale, slowly bring it back down. Barely tap that toe to the ground, then right back up. Want to make sure that leg stays nice and tight the entire time. Good, just keep that motion going. If you're feeling your shoulders, one side's getting more sore or more tired than the other, it means you're using too much weight on that side. So you're probably pushing too much weight on your right shoulder if you're lifting your left leg. So just try to even your weight out, evenly distribute your weight on those shoulders, and it should take care of that. Same thing with that left hip. If you're feeling it more in your right hip than you are in your left, put more weight on your shoulders. Got 2 more. Good, nice straight leg still, tight squeeze the top. Good, inhale back down. This is our last one. You're going to squeeze that leg up really nice and high to the top. Squeeze it, bend that knee, drop that knee back underneath you so you can tuck it underneath your body, and then bring it right back up. Tight, tight squeeze the top, slowly back under. So give you a little bit of rest at the bottom point here when you tuck that knee, and squeeze it right back up. Good. Keep those abs tight, nice tight contracted stomach. Pulling that belly button in the entire time. Good, nice tight squeeze. Got a couple more to go through. 1 more, tuck that knee. When you bring that leg back up, freeze the top of that range of motion. At the very top of that range of motion, hold it. Just a couple of inches at the top. You're going to do short pulses. So squeeze it up there. Just keep those lungs open, breathing normally. You can breathe in pulses if you want to. Otherwise, just a nice, slow, fluid in and out. Tight squeeze, just a little bit more. And let it relax. Nice and slow. Drop it down. Sit back into those heels. Stretch those glute muscles out. Let them relax for just a second. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, let's bring that other leg up. Extend it out perfectly flat. Again, contract those abdominal muscles. Keep that back nice and flat. Barely touching the ground with that toe. Leg perfectly straight. Squeeze it up. Nice tight squeeze. Inhale that leg down. And exhale that leg back up. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Good. Main thing you want to focus on is not letting that lower back dip too much when you lift that leg. So when you get to that maximum range of motion, you're going to have a tendency, you want to tilt those hips and lower that back and swoop that back. So you want to try to keep those abs contracted, so actually kind of pulling those stomach muscles up so you don't actually tip that lower back down. Other thing you want to watch out for is keeping that leg perfectly straight. Contract that thigh as tight as you possibly can to not let that leg bend. Good, keep it going. Remember, if you're feeling too much in your left hip on this one, it means you're shifting too much weight on that backside. So just lean forward onto that right shoulder a little bit more, or just onto those shoulders in general to take more weight on your arms rather than just on that leg. Good, we're going to do 1 more. Up nice and high, short pause, bend that knee to a 90, tuck that knee back underneath. all the way under, and then extend it back up, keeping that knee bent. Again, tuck it back down. Exhale, press it up, nice tight squeeze. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Just a few more to go. Good, 2 left. Tight squeeze, got 1 more, tuck underneath. Exhale, press it up, freeze it, short pulse to the very top of that range of motion. Keep those lungs open. Almost done. Keep squeezing, nice tight squeeze, full range of motion, as hard as you possibly can. Really burn that glute out, make those butt muscles burn like crazy. And let it relax. Go ahead and tuck that knee underneath you, sit back into those heels. Good, get a good full stretch on the back. Stretch out those glutes. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and sit down. You're gonna kick your legs straight out, so one leg off to the side, one leg tucked in. Good, perfect. You're going to reach down towards that straight leg, open that chest up out to the side, other arm comes over top of your head. Get a good stretch on that torso as well as that hamstring on that side. And let it relax. Go ahead and stand back up. You're going to kick the leg off to the other side. Tuck that opposite leg in, reach it down. Grab that toe, hand over top. Keep that chest open as much as you can. Again, good stretch on that hamstring as well as on the outside of that torso. And go ahead and let it relax. Sit back up, scoot back just a little bit. So you're on the edge of the mat, both legs kicked out. We're going to do a saw next. So with this motion, you're going to have those arms perfectly out to your sides. You're actually going to stretch down and to the outside of your foot with the opposite arm. So as you come across, you're going to the outside of your foot, stretching down, and then come across the outside. So opposite arm to foot. So that one's going to come across. So reach that arm over here to the outside of your foot. Good, then stand back up nice and straight and tall. Make sure that spine's perfectly straight, head nice and high. Then stretch it down the other side. Perfect. Good. Make sure that every single time you come up to the center, that spine's really nice and tall, that head's up nice and high. You want to make sure that you're not rounding that back. If you need to, you can bend those knees, sit up on top of a yoga block or a mat or something like that, roll it over a few times to get yourself a little extra distance so it's not so tight on those hamstrings. But if you can, keep those legs perfectly straight, getting a good stretch back and forth, side to side. One more on each side. Last one on the other side. Back up to the center, bring those feet in. Touch those feet together. We're going to do a butterfly stretch next. This one, you're going to use the muscles to the outside of your thigh to pull those legs down towards the ground as best you can. So nice straight back. Pull those legs down towards the ground. Just hold it there. Nice deep breath in. Keep those lungs open. And go ahead and let that one relax. You can go ahead and flatten back out on your back again one more time. You're going to cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. We're going to do a deep glute stretch. Grab behind the thigh of that left knee and pull it in nice and tight. Sorry, that right knee. Again, I got to learn my left from my right.
It's advanced stuff.
Yeah, advanced anatomy. So pull that knee in as close as you can. You're actually going to be feeling this on the glute of your right leg, the one you have crossed over top. Good. Go ahead and let that one relax. We're going to switch sides. Pull that opposite side in. Again, just squeeze it in as far as is comfortable. Nice tight squeeze. Just breathe normally. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Try to let everything relax as much as you can. Those arms will be tense a little bit from pulling that leg in, but other than that, all those other muscles should be completely relaxed. Good, go ahead and let that one relax. You're going to bring those knees off to the left side, look off to the right. You're going to try to stretch that torso. Wait here just a little bit. Just try to let those knees fall off as far as you can. Try to keep those shoulders perfectly flat against the ground. Don't let your shoulders lift up as you rotate. Good, almost done. And let it relax. Go ahead and switch sides. Again, whatever side you have those legs rolled off to, you want to be looking the opposite direction. And let it relax. Legs flat out against the ground. Arms up over top of your head. We're going to do a full body stretch. So take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, or sorry, stretch those hands and feet in opposite directions as you inhale. Really lift that back up. Then exhale, let it relax. Again, inhale, arch that back up. Stretch those hands and feet in opposite directions. Really, really good stretch to that torso. One more time. Go ahead and let it relax. Exhale out. One more time. Inhale, arch it up nice and high. Stretch those hands and feet in opposite directions. And exhale, let it relax. All right, very good. This workout is complete.